Hi again, everybody, and welcome to Facing the Pain. In this week's episode, we're going to review UFC on Fox Sports 10-something, where BJ Penn got killed. And we're going to preview, more importantly, the greatest fight of all time. With me, as always, my broadcast partner, Sam Mercady.
Did you just say UFC on Fox 10-something?
Yeah, 10-something. I don't know what number they're at. It's a lot, though.
I doubt it's in the hundreds, though.
UFC on Fox Sports? Like, that inherited the, maybe I should have just said, like, Fight Night. It's UFC on Fight Night 100-something.
Yeah.
Whatever. They've had a lot of these fucking shows.
It's not the last UFC on Fox was 22. Van Zandt versus
Right, I said
Waters.
Fox Sports, didn't I?
Oh, so let's see Fox Sports.
Yeah, it's UFC Fight Night 103. So I don't know what number on Fox Sports it is.
Okay, fair enough. So it's less ridiculous than you made it sound originally.
Thank you. I know what I'm doing sometimes.
All the time. Well, you know more than me. Plus, you made certain promises about this podcast, so I'm not going to bust your balls early on.
Yeah, that's true. That's not going to happen, but it's true.
I fully know, and I'm aware.
Let's talk about this show. There's not much to talk about. BJ Penn came in with the look back in his eyes. How much do these idiots in the media get paid to tell me that BJ Penn is motivated and is back and really trained hard for this fight?
People would say that?
Oh, dude, a lot of the like major outlets, and I get it. Like, this is why, again, like, how much are they paid off to say this? Because it's baffling how anybody thinks this. Yeah, like, I know MMA Junkie had a big article. I think MMA Fighting did too. Basically, all the major outlets.
I honestly was not aware because I haven't read anything in the lead up for this fight because I truly didn't think there would be anything worth reading, not in terms of quality, just in terms of there's no narrative. BJ Penn is really old. Yair Rodriguez is much younger. And at this point, a vastly superior fighter.
But BJ Penn trained with Greg Jackson and was really motivated. He moved down to 145 to show that he was in shape.
I don't think you and I get to call anybody out strictly on our prediction that this fight would go to a decision. I think that was really dumb on both our parts.
It was dumb only in the sense that, I mean, yeah, BJ Penn is old, but he's still really durable. And I guess that catches up to you after however many years. But it's still not as bad as just talking about this fight like BJ Penn had any chance.
No. We at no point insinuated that it's good. Like
we just thought he would get beat up for 25 minutes.
Yeah, but when you think about it, at this age, he's not going to last 25 minutes. especially with the way he normally gets winded when he starts getting beat up. Anyway, it was none of that. He just got he got punched in the face and he was dropped, apparently for the first time in his career. So I was right when I questioned if he'd ever been knocked down.
Yeah, I saw the stat. It was the first time in his career, and he had absorbed over 12,000 strikes on the feet.
Yeah, BJ Penn gets beat up a lot. Seriously. So for him to, I understand it's that lightweight mainly, but for him to never be dropped is amazing.
It is pretty astounding.
It's incredible, honestly. I'd never liked BJ Penn, as I've articulated last week, and in my subconscious, where I was haunted by him and Dana White, and I had to hide under a restaurant table. Full disclosure, I had a dream that I was very critical of BJ Penn, and he and Dana White were so upset with me that they went after me. And by went after me, I mean like they were really out for blood. So
I still think hiding in a restaurant was the worst idea you could have done.
And I hid under a table in a restaurant. And Jeremy rightly pointed out that this is where the mob usually hangs out, so it's the dumbest place to hide.
We're not saying that Dana and BJ have mob ties.
Of course not.
Or they're not Bjorn Rebney over here.
That's right. That's right. What was I saying before this story? Despite not being a fan of BJ, I almost wish he'd retired after his last fights, just so that he would have went through his whole career without being knocked down, because that is pretty amazing. And he does have one of the best chins in MMA. Not only, I never actually recall BJ just being rocked on the feet. You know what I mean? Like, just being wobbly. Again, he gets punched in the face a lot.
He just backs up and stays against the fence and covers up, and that's it. He's never, on spaghetti legs.
Right. So I guess there's a first for everything, especially when you get to that age. It's just, it was always going to be brutal. And boy, was this fucking brutal. Jesus Christ, that was hard to watch.
It was bad, and it's one of those things in fighting where you can tell it's bad immediately.
Dude, yeah, exactly.
When we talked about the Ronda Rousey fight, when she got hit with that first punch, you could just tell it was not going to be a good night for her. And it was really the same thing with BJ. Yair Rodriguez, he hit him with the first couple of punches, and BJ was just so slow with his reactions. And you could tell the speed difference and just the diversity and the power. It wasn't going to end well for BJ. And I think at the 4-minute mark in the first round, I tweeted, they need to stop it in the corner. You knew they wouldn't, because they never do. And MMA corners are just dumb. But these guys got to protect these fighters. And not only that, but who's the referee? McCarthy. He let it go on way too long as well. What are you doing? The guy was done in the first round, and then he got dropped with the front kick, and you let him take so many punches on the ground. I don't know. It was bad, and it was honestly sad to watch.
A couple of quick words about the fight before I touch on something really relevant to what you're currently talking about. It's hard to have any takeaways with regards to the winner. I mean, with regards to BJ, he's just done. He's old. His reflexes are shot completely. And that actually allowed Rodriguez to just pressure pretty much mindlessly while fearing no consequences whatsoever, because why would he? There was a point where BJ's reflexes in his prime were pretty amazing, and he was one of the better counterpunchers in the game. Definitely had one of the best jabs in MMA for sure. So it was really rare for somebody to just be able to mindlessly bull rush him, because he just applied a jab in your face and he would dictate the whole fight that way. Clearly all of that is gone. It was obvious. Even his punches, whatever few punches he threw, looked sloppy as hell. But so that allowed Rodriguez to just do his thing. But to his credit, he went at BJ, and not only did he not relent, but he didn't seem to slow down a second. Every strike he was throwing are really these flashy strikes. They take a lot out of you. He was always throwing full impact kicks the whole fight. I mean, all 7 minutes of the fight. But he just didn't relent. Like the sheer volume with which he was throwing, considering it was mainly high kicks and body kicks and spinning wheel kicks and 360s and stuff like that. Like, it's actually quite impressive that he just kept throwing with that face. It reminded me of when you play UFC Undisputed and you're just throwing nothing but kicks, and then the stamina thing kicks in. At least the early Undisputed games, those are the ones I played.
Yeah, I tweeted. I tweeted that actually, that Rodriguez was just spamming head kicks like he's playing UFC Undisputed.
Oh. And then he would go to the body, and BJ wouldn't block the same way you and I used to talk. Like, we don't block to the body in UFC Undisputed because you're so worried that the kick would be to the head.
Yeah.
Except the stamina meter would never hit for Rodriguez. He just kept throwing and throwing. He wobbled BJ with like a partially blocked high kick, and then he threw like flying knees and all sorts of flashy stuff. The most ironic thing is that the punch that dropped BJ seemed to be like the least impactful strike of the whole thing. But
yeah, but it came right after the front kick to the face.
Yeah, yeah, you're right.
That was really the thing that wobbled him.
True. But you're right in general that it should have never gotten to that point anyway. I've heard that the Greg Jackson camp apparently have a policy of not stopping, no corner stoppages, which is super dumb. If that indeed policy is applied. Okay, just full disclosure, I've read somebody say it on Twitter, so it could be right or wrong. So I don't want this to be taken as gospel. But if that indeed is the case, that is a terrible policy. That's almost an irresponsible policy to have, which is why I question whether it actually exists. But regardless, policy or no policy, I know it would be humiliating, but that fight should not have gone a second longer. And even though Rodriguez's Donkey Kong hammer fist after he dropped him didn't look like they're about to separate BJ from consciousness or anything, John McCarthy should have just stopped. It's not just a knockdown. It's the culmination of everything leading up to it. There was nothing good that could have happened had BJ survived. Sometimes there's judgment call. Like a couple of weeks back, maybe last week, I don't remember, we talked about how you got to know your fighters before stopping a fight. You got to know that BJ Penn is pushing 40, and he had been beaten up for almost literally every second of that fight. So it's not like you're giving him a chance to recover and you don't know what happens. If he does recover, then you're only allowing further punishment. So I do think it was actually a late stoppage, even though the actual strikes that were landing on the ground weren't necessarily the most dangerous. But I don't think there's anything else to take from the fight. I guess Rodriguez is exciting. That I can say that much. But what I want to talk about, and I remember when Dana White said that he didn't want to make another dollar off of Chuck after the Rich Franklin fight?
Yeah.
Does that only apply to Chuck Liddell? Because
I think it applies to making money, because I don't know if he made much money off of BJ Penn in this fight.
Okay, fine. That's harsh, but fine. But seriously,
BJ Penn got $150,000 for this fight.
For one night's work?
Don't make that joke. $150 for a dude who's been around for 20 years. He's a 2-division champion and marketed as a legend. Couldn't even get $250,000 for this ass kicking. Why do people fight? If the end game is you're getting BJ Penn money. Oh, my Skype.
Money.
Oh, no, you there? Okay.
Yeah, I am here. Are we still recording?
Yeah. Well, I thought
fantastic podcasting work. Oh, okay. That's the great editing we do here on Facing the Pain.
I'm not editing this nonsense.
Well, that's because we face the pain. Yeah. We don't avoid it.
We're true to MMA. They fuck up all the time. You ever seen Mike Goldberg?
Oh, I did see Mike Goldberg on this show in the crowd.
We'll talk about that in a second. What were we saying about BJ Penn's money?
Okay, forget about BJ Penn, buddy. Yeah, that's not much for BJ Penn, especially considering the ass kicking he got. But seriously, for somebody that's been in the sport for so long, that feels pretty low. The funny thing is, most fighters won't even come close to making that, and that is even sadder when you think about it.
Well, yeah, I agree. Joe Lozon is getting 58. So
just think about it. Literally 90% of the UFC roster will not make that kind of money.
That is true, and that is quite sad. But
sad. Considering that money is
you're not only not making that money, but if you get to a point to make that money, that's the money you're making.
Yeah, it's not unless you're like the super exceptions. But yeah,
unless you're Connor or Ronda, those are the only exceptions. I feel like at this point.
It is. How much was George St. Pierre making?
I'll look at his last fight. How much do you think Anderson's gonna get in his next fight? You know he's fighting at 208. They put him on that card to save it.
The Holly Holm card?
Yeah.
Anderson's there?
Yeah, he's fighting Derek Brunson, who just lost to Robert Whittaker in the dark horse of middleweight.
Oh. Does Anderson win?
We'll talk about it in a couple of weeks. I've really gone back and forth, and that's kind of sad because I don't think much of Derek Brunson. But Anderson, I don't think much of this version of Anderson either.
My initial instinct was he does. Then I started thinking about old fighters. They don't win.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that.
GSP got 400 for the Hendricks fight.
Okay, so he's one of those exceptions.
How much would GSP get now? I feel like he'd make a killing now.
I feel like he should make more. That's what I was going with. I mean, keep in mind, GSP was. I mean, I know BJ Penn at one point probably got pay-per-view dollars, except his pay-per-views. I mean, actually, he was a solid draw, but not GSP levels.
No, he wasn't GSP level, but he was the biggest lighter weight draw until Connor came
along. Definitely. BJ Penn actually had always been an underrated draw. I'll say that much about him. I remember when he and Diego Sanchez at like 600,000, which is, I mean, the UFC wish they do that now with like their top fighters, except for Connor. So, BJ Penn doing that against Diego Sanchez was remarkable. And he had a role to play in UFC 101 doing almost $1 million, or was it over $1 million?
No, I think it was over $1 million.
It was over $1 million. I know Anderson versus Forrest was on that card, but still, that was BJ in the main event. He was fighting Kenny Florian. Kenny Florian? Yeah, Kenny Florian.
I was there.
And to see one of the greatest MMA performances. Oh, Jesus.
My dog.
You know what's funny about your dog barking?
The show again.
You know what's funny about your dog barking? When I was saying to see the greatest MMA performance by a corner man, I was going to make a joke about Keith Florian barking. So your dog right on cue. I miss Keith Florian. He was entertainment. Seriously, he had so much entertainment value.
Underhooks, Kenny! Underhooks!
Dude, if you're a fighter, seriously, MMA cornering is garbage. But if you're a fighter, do you really want to hear your corner, like, it's like if you're playing video games and somebody's like yelling instructions at you from the background, it's almost never helpful. You know what I mean? It's just like, shut up, let me play. You're making me not nervous, but it's distracting. And I understand your corner has to shout instructions, but they have to be. That's why Greg Jackson is actually good, provided he's not letting BJ Penn die out there, because he actually knows how to corner in between rounds and from the. My favorite is at one point somebody was telling whoever the dude next to Greg Jackson was at some event was telling their fighter, like, "Oh, you're winning," and Greg Jackson goes, "Shut up, don't tell him that."
Yeah,
and that's
Greg
actually
Jackson.
Good advice.
Greg Jackson gets a lot of praise for. He knows how to handle the fighters outside of obviously BJ Penn. But remember, like the Carlos Condit and Rory McDonald fight, where he does this with Cerrone as well. Like he gives
him a speech, as if it's like a Hollywood movie.
Yeah, instead of giving him like any type of technical advice, and with St. Pierre, it's like it's all technical advice and stuff. But with Condit, he knew he needed some rallying speech for him. So Greg Jackson is really good. I don't want to demean Greg Jackson for not stopping this fight, but he still should have stopped this fight.
He really should have. And Dana White should have not allowed that fight to happen to begin with. If you're going to play, if you're going to be take the moral high ground at one point and go like, oh, I don't want to make a single dollar out of this fighter, which is totally fair. Do that for other long-standing UFC employees. And I understand BJ Penn was not always the company man that Chuck Liddell is, considering the UFC
Chuck Liddell got fired.
Rightfully so. What the fuck did Chuck Liddell do?
I have no clue.
Matt Hughes was responsible for the UFC code of conduct, right?
Yeah, Matt Hughes at least had a title.
He too got fired.
Yeah, he got fired
for watching baseball.
I can't wait.
Remember, I showed you that.
I can't wait
right?
for Chuck to show up on Saturday and face off against the winner of Tito and Chael.
Ooh, that would be. Does Chuck beat Tito Ortiz at this point?
It's gonna happen. So. I was right about St. Pierre and Silva at whatever that event was, and I'm gonna be right about this as well.
How much would George St. Pierre make if he were to fight Anderson Silva or anybody else? I feel it's like $500,000 just like as a
it's $500,000 just to show up, and then obviously
and then like the pay-per-views and everything else. Yeah, he would make a killing. Hopefully he doesn't. I don't want to see that guy fight.
No.
Again.
I hope he watched this BJ Penn fight and was like, yeah, I'm good.
Or maybe he should fight BJ Penn.
I mean, that's fine. That's the debate on if you're going to bring back a legend, like, do you put him up against the guy to make their name off of? That's still murder.
That's still cruel, by the way.
Yeah,
I think George St. Pierre would kill him.
Oh, yeah, I agree. But, I mean, at least it's... No, it'd probably still be just as bad. Maybe not quite as terrible.
Dude, it would be terrible.
It would be.
What's just... Like, on the feet, I'm pretty sure George St. Pierre is much sharper. I mean, he was when they were in their primes. But even now, being away from the sport, I'm pretty sure he would beat him up on the feet. And, like, he's going to punch like a welterweight. BJ Penn's not going to be able to take his punches anymore.
But should BJ Penn have fought... Who's like a... Is there... Like Uriah Faber. Like, if that's the last fight for both guys.
I think Uriah kills him, though. But, sure...
I think that's a good last
Uriah
fight.
Uriah kills him.
I would have much rather seen Penn against Faber than against
I think stylistically it would have been less brutal.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
It definitely could. Yeah, but I still think Uriah would have beaten him easily. BJ Penn is just like completely shot. Just he's just old. And Uriah Faber is hardly in his prime or anything. But
I didn't think Faber looked good in his final fight against Brad Pickett. Like. I think you're selling BJ slightly short.
No, absolutely not. Maybe I'm overstating Uriah Faber's current abilities.
Maybe that's it.
But selling BJ short, I don't think is even possible at this point.
I mean, he lost to Yair Rodriguez, Frankie Edgar, and Rory McDonald were his last three.
Okay, first of all, Rory McDonald was in 2012. That was a lot. That doesn't even count anymore. That was 4 years ago. It was late 2012, or December 2012. So that was 4 years ago. You know what I mean? Like that fight is no indication because BJ is 4 years older. And
I think you're overstating Faber. Like I agree, BJ Penn is not good. Faber hasn't looked. Like, you put Faber up against Rodriguez, I don't think it goes any better.
Oh, I think Uriah gets crushed. But I think you don't get to bring up BJ's last fight because think about it. Rory McDonald was over 4 years ago. Frankie Edgar was in July of 2014. That's 2.5 years
I bring it up.
ago.
My point to bring it up was look at the competition where I was talking about Faber.
What I mean. I know what you're talking about, but it's no longer look at the competition because that is no longer relevant. It was so long ago. It's look at BJ now. And Yair Rodriguez, is it really look at the competition? Like, I'm sure this guy is good, but...
It's still look at the competition. I mean, we weren't high on Rodriguez coming into the fight, and I don't think he proved anything by killing BJ Penn, but he's still 24 and not a great matchup for BJ Penn with his striking diversity.
Oh, look, matchup-wise, in theory, BJ Penn is a nightmare for Uriah Faber. And I think that's sort of what's maybe sort of swaying you into believing it will be close.
What, Faber and Penn? Oh.
Yeah, because
I
Penn
think,
nullifies everything that Faber does if Penn could still fight.
I think Faber wins. I don't think it's obviously not the massacre that we witnessed on Sunday.
I agree.
That's my main point. The fact that we're even kind of debating it, and I mean, we both think enough. Faber wins, but it's not something where you would 100% write off BJ, I don't think, like we did for this fight.
Yeah, I would still find it very hard to think BJ wins because I don't think BJ finishes him early. Like, of course, back in the day, that probably would have been likely because BJ would have finished him. But, you know, at this point, I don't think BJ would have finished him early. And, Uriah Faber is going to win as the fight progresses. Like, you know what I mean? Like, BJ's not going to win 3 rounds or let alone 5. But whatever. Why is that even a thing?
Well, because do you match up BJ Penn against a guy to build his name, or do you match him up with like an older guy or another legend? Like they knew it was Faber's last fight, and they didn't throw him out there against Yair Rodriguez to build Rodriguez's name. They gave him Brad Pickett, who was just as old and not good.
Does beating quote unquote legends really do that much for fighters?
I think it did a lot. The biggest example is it did a ton for Matt Hughes when he beat Royce Gracie.
But that was an extreme example because first of all, the sport was
right. But that's the example that everyone brings up.
Yeah, but that was such an extreme example. You literally had the ultimate battle of the past versus the present. Like you had the guy that started it all against the most dominant champion at the time. You know what I mean? Rodriguez versus Penn is neither of those things.
Yeah, I don't think it does much for somebody. Like, what did Glover Teixeira or Ryan Bader get for beating
Daniel Cormier
Rampage?
Get for beating Anderson Silva?
Cormier is a little unfair because he was. I guess it's the same as Hughes, where they were the champion and everything. But Cormier, and same thing with Hughes, he was established. I am talking more of you take an up-and-coming guy, not a Matt Hughes.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, if you take an established guy, then I don't know how much it does for them. Matt Hughes was established in that division and everything, but that was at still kind of a darkish period for the UFC, so they just used him to build them up. Nowadays, they have more established guys and draws, even if they're not huge draws. And Cormier is certainly one of their draws.
I honestly I wouldn't be that interested either way, but I'd be more interested in a legend versus legend fight. I feel like it would make more sense. I think it's more humane. And I actually think it would draw bigger interest, honestly.
Possibly.
I think people would have cared more had this been Uriah Faber versus BJ Penn.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
So, so that's what I'm saying in terms of interest.
Sorry, I was distracted when you made your last comment.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I agree. I think it would have drawn way more interest if you know it's Faber's last fight and it's potentially it would have been Penn's last fight.
We're making jokes about Chuck versus Tito. You know what I mean? Have it Chuck versus some up and coming light heavyweight in Bellator, and
they don't have any.
Yeah. Then in the UFC, they don't have any either. So, yeah.
Chuck against Alexander Gustafsson. I mean, he's not really.
Is he still up and coming?
No.
Isn't he like in his 30s at this point?
Yeah. I don't know who is up and coming at light heavyweight.
Yeah,
in the UFC.
I'm telling you, they don't have one either. I wasn't even kidding when I said that. Let's see how old Alexander Gustafsson is.
I think he's in his 30s.
He's 30.
Well,
he just turned 30 4 days ago.
Oh, wow. Thank God we did this podcast now.
You're right. Otherwise, we would have been just as wrong as we were about Meryl Streep's age.
Yeah. I want to see Chuck versus Tito. It's going to happen. I'm telling you. If Tito wins, then otherwise it'll be Chuck versus Chael.
Doesn't Tito beat Chuck now?
My dream when I like really wanted to interview fighters and was interviewing fighters, my dream was to interview Chuck Liddell and ask him, at what point could you not knock out Tito Ortiz?
And he would have told you 2017. I don't think he would beat Tito Ortiz. Dude, Chuck Liddell hasn't fought in 7 years.
Yeah, and he's like, how old is Chuck now?
Yeah, he's really old. At least Tito, whatever you might have to say about him, at least he's a semi-active fighter.
Chuck is 47.
Yeah, dude, no. He's not beating Tito Ortiz. How old is Tito?
Tito's 41.
Wow.
Didn't we come up, like, years and years ago, come up with the Legends division?
Yeah. The Legends division. I wish that would work. The problem is guys would still... it still wouldn't work because you still need actual weight classes. Unless,
Most of these guys are light heavyweight, though. Like, what legends do you want to see that are smaller than that? I know St. Pierre, but...
No, I don't want to see St. Pierre. But St. Pierre, it would still feel like he's a bit too good for these guys.
I think you could do a Legends division and have... Like, you don't need that many. You can still book fights based on weight class.
Okay, who would you have in a Legends division? Tito, Chuck, Vanderlei, Crow Cop.
Randy Couture, he'd still want to fight.
Randy Couture is the 50-something Aaron Simpson of the 40-something crowd.
Dan Henderson.
Dan Henderson would be a bit too good for these guys, maybe. Would he? Who knows?
Anderson.
Oh, he would definitely be too good for these guys. He would crush these fools. Come on.
Sakuraba, Hoist, Fedor.
Dude, what are you talking about? Sakuraba? Wow. And you were just burying Greg Jackson for not stopping a fight?
Sakuraba, I feel like, has fought in the last year.
Does Sakuraba beat BJ Penn?
I don't know. That's
Weight difference and all. Wait. We found out the best fight for BJ.
Sakuraba fought. He fought fucking Shinya Aoki at
I remember that.
Dynamite 2015, so just over a year ago. I knew he'd fought kind of recently. Corner stoppage. See? Sakuraba's corner knows when to throw in the damn towel.
Take notes, Greg Jackson. So if he lost to Aoki, he'd definitely lose to BJ Penn.
He got corner stopped by Shinya Aoki.
Although I'm sure Aoki is a much better fighter than BJ Penn now, at this point. But, yeah, if you get corner
how old
stoppage,
is Shinya Aoki? What do you think?
I want to say 33.
Oh, wow. Good guess.
Was that correct?
Yeah.
I
thought you were going to go much higher.
Up.
Because Aoki's another guy that's just been around forever.
Yeah, he's been... But that's the thing. If you hadn't asked me the question that way, I would have assumed he's older. But because you asked me that, so yeah. Wow, Sakuraba did fight Aoki. And the funny thing is, before that, he hadn't fought in over 4 years.
Yeah.
So.
I want to see Sakuraba versus Penn. That's a good fight. See, this is shit we can put together in
the Legends division?
Yeah.
Fair enough.
They could fight at welterweight. That's what Sakuraba fought Aoki at. And shit, Penn can go back to hot dogs and beer. Didn't have to cut any weight.
I'm hoping for like an open weight Legends Grand Prix, but where it's like completely random. So like realistically, you could get like BJ Penn versus Anderson Silva, or Sakuraba versus Anderson Silva. I think Sakuraba has had enough of Silva's.
Anderson versus Vanderlei. Remember when that was a rumor?
And it would have been brutal then. It will be even more brutal now. Or, it still will be brutal.
Ryzen tried really hard to get this Grand Prix together, and then the legends outside of Crow Cop dropped out.
Yeah, that is true. Fedor could be legit in this Grand Prix, given how washed up everybody else is. I mean, he's equally washed up. But
Fedor fights in a couple of weeks.
Who's he fighting? Matt Mitrione?
Matt Mitrione.
Well, we'll find out if Fedor is eligible for the Grand Prix soon. He has to lose to be eligible. If he wins, he's way too good.
Is Rampage worthy of the Grand Prix?
No, I still think he'd be way too good for some of these guys.
When was the last time Rampage fought? Oh, we fought Ishii in 2016. I couldn't remember if he was still in the UFC or if he was in Bellator.
Did he lose due to a distinct size advantage? That's a good reference right there.
No, he won by split decision. I mean, he split decision Ishii.
Are you kidding? Are you kidding?
That's probably not a good sign.
Yeah, maybe he wouldn't be too good for these guys. Who knows?
King Mo should be in this.
Yep. Well, but no, fuck him. He doesn't qualify to be a legend. He's washed up, but he's not a legend.
Rashad Evans. Rashad might still be too good.
He's kind of too good.
You got to be over 40 too. We need to put that qualification.
Yeah,
then Penn can't be in it though. He's only like 39.
In dog years, he's like 50.
Yeah, Rashad probably needs one more fight. You've had to lose. We got to come up with like qualifications.
Yeah, like how many you've lost in a row and stuff
or
like that.
How you lost and who you lost to. Because a guy could maybe lose one fight and like if Fedor
Matt
beat
Hughes qualifies. I'm bringing in Matt Hughes, by the way.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, because if Fedor loses to Mitrione, like I think he's won his last couple of fights because they were against Cans. But if he loses to Mitrione,
they don't really count. But if he beats Mitrione, they might count. Like that's way too good of a winning streak, even though it's terrible.
Oh no, I'm saying like it can't be like based on 3 straight losses or something. It's got to be based on a loss streak and who you lost to.
Yeah, like the opponents matter.
Right.
Fedor is 40. Okay, good.
Yeah, but we're not going to age cap it though.
Wait, Fedor is on a 5-fight winning streak?
Yeah, I told you he's won like a bunch of fights. That last fight, he paid off the judges.
Yeah, I remember the last one was bullshit. I remember the 3-fight winning streak, which he retired after, and you know, like the M1 had only made them happen so he could they could say like he retired on a bunch of few wins because he was riding a 3-fight losing streak prior to that. But now I'm shocked that. Oh yeah, and the Maldonado fight was like the robbery of the year, right?
Yeah, and the judges were handpicked by Fedor's people.
How did that not win robbery of the year?
I don't know. I didn't know there was an award for robbery of the year.
Wait, there was. Didn't I read that the result was overturned?
I don't think so. I don't think they overturned it.
I remember I saw Josh Gross tweet about that. Okay. I'm Googling it.
All right. Antonio Silva, is he a legend? He would definitely qualify.
There it is. I just read that.
Oh, yeah, I see it is overturned. Oh, yeah, but they have no real authority to change the outcome, and it's just symbolic.
So how is it overturned? What?
Russia!
Yep, that explains a lot. Donald Trump should intervene. He's got friends there. Didn't he take a picture with Fedor at some affliction event or something?
Yeah. There's a picture of Trump and Fedor. There's a picture of Trump with a lot of fighters. Didn't we have this discussion on how many fighters support Trump? And we put it at like 90%.
Right, but I don't think Fedor was part of it. You could add Fedor to that list now.
The rest of this card, quickly. Joe Lozon defeated Marcin Held. Lozon even admitted after the fight that he lost.
Yeah, I saw that. He said he said his opponent got robbed, so more power to him.
Yeah, props to him. I gave it to Held. I think the majority of people gave it to Held. He out-grappled Lozon, which may be a little bit surprising. Ben Saunders beat Court McGee. It was a heavyweight fight between 2 welterweights. And it was... it was just sloppy and bad and whatever between 2 mid-level guys. Sergio Pettis beat John Moraga. Sergio Pettis looked good in this fight. I was very impressed with his striking and even his wrestling. So props.
I did think that that maybe you were a bit harsh on Sergio Pettis because I remember both you and I said that we don't think he's good and picked against him.
I still don't know if he's great, or even good.
Yeah, great
but this
is
was
pushing it.
Yeah,
He's not great.
This was a good win though, a really good win. I mean, John Moraga's a former.
Yeah,
I don't think.
Fighter.
Yeah, but Moraga had lost 2 straight coming into this, but he's a former guy who challenged for a title, so that sort of means something.
Former contender. Sorry, I'm yawning. Former contender is the word you're looking for. You said former guy who challenged for the title,
which is not an incorrect statement.
Mike Goldberg. It is not an incorrect statement. Just saying former guy is pretty funny.
And Mike Goldberg was at the event. He showed up in the crowd.
So random. Do you think the UFC knew he would be in that shot?
So I had a theory that he bought a ticket, like in the old WCW days when the outsiders would show up in the front row and security would come over and talk to him, and they pulled out their ticket and it was like, we have every right to be here. I think Goldberg did the same thing. There's no way he got comped, or he talked to another fighter who was like, yeah, I'm not going to see this, and they gave Goldberg his ticket. But there's no way UFC was like, yeah, be our special guest. What if this was his, like, since they didn't do anything for him at the event, like they didn't say goodbye.
Oh, this was his consolation prize?
Yeah, like we're going to let you go see the first event of 2017, BJ Penn versus Yair Rodriguez.
I was honestly, all kidding aside, I was shocked that Goldberg was there. Because if you're just been let off work...
What else is he going to do?
Not go to the event, watch it on TV, spend time with your family? I don't know. Look, no matter how much you love your job, if you've just been let off a job you've been doing for 20 years, you don't want to, like, show up there as a customer the next day.
That's very fair.
Oh, well. Mike Goldberg is winning me over. He's a good man.
I still think he should have jumped John Anik and just called the fight.
Oh, that would have been so fantastic. I wish he did that, like, pro wrestling style.
And then Nina Ansaroff won on the prelims, and then she gave Amanda Nunes, I assume Amanda Nunes, I don't really know what she looks like, a big old kiss. I like them. They're my favorite couple.
How many other MMA couples do you know?
Brian Caraway and Misha Tate.
Well, one of them is retired, but okay. Ronda Rousey and Travis Brown, also one of them is retired.
The Veras, the Melendezes, the Coutures.
The Coutures are no longer a thing, are they?
No. Lorenzo and the Ring Girl.
That is my favorite couple.
I'm sure there's plenty of MMA couples. Paige Van Zandt dates a fighter, I think. She used to date Cody Garbrandt.
Oh. Good on Cody Garbrandt. He's winning in life. No, I would go with the Brazilian power. What should we call them? We need to come up with a nickname for that couple.
You workshop it.
All right, I'll come up with something.
Bellator. There's no UFC card this weekend. Thank God.
But we still have to preview something as always. But in fairness,
this is worth it.
Yeah,
this is
worth previewing.
The biggest fight of all time. Bellator is just going to be retired. The Legends of MMA.
Remember when 3 months ago we were worried? We were talking about this fight after the press conference that they had, and we were talking about how much disappointed we will be when somebody pulls out. It's almost upon us, and I'm not trying to jinx anything, but
technically there's still time. But I mean, there's no USADA because then we'd be really fucked.
Yeah, then we're both super fucked.
So at
and
least
we did see Ortiz with a juice ball. So
yeah.
You know what that means. He's juicy. What a great moment that was. Was that the moment of the year? Forget just about MMA. Just the moment of the year.
It's up there. I'm trying to think. I'm sure there was good moments in 2016.
Really?
I don't know. That is a tough one. It was probably moment of the year. And does that beat Connor's "Where's My Fucking Title"?
Yes.
All right.
And not many things beat that. But Tito Ortiz just squashing a juice box is right up there. Just saying, this is Chael Sonnen and just doing it. Oh, what a moment that was, dude. Come on.
Chael Sonnen's
you laughed way harder at that than you did at Connor's speech. Let's be honest.
That's true.
Yeah.
Chael Sonnen's got gas coming out his ass as well.
And it's not his butt.
I do think Bellator's dropped the ball recently. Like,
seriously, where the fuck are these debates and press conferences? I'm pissed.
It's been very disappointing. They had the one debate, the one press conference, and that's it. Like, it's Wednesday, and I've not seen them talk since then.
I think Tito got a no media week, just like Ronda.
Scott Coker should have been like, no, what's wrong with you?
Tito would never accept a no media week. What would he do if he can't just talk? But it has been disappointing, actually, that as we've come closer to the fight, they haven't. And seriously, that's not even a smart idea to just, like, not give them at least one more platform to just, do whatever it is they were doing. Creating magic, I guess.
Definitely creating magic. Tito Ortiz has been too busy supporting Trump to focus on MMA.
He's winning this. No, I don't think he is.
Who is winning this fight?
No, Chael Sonnen is winning this fight. Come on. Chael Sonnen is a better wrestler anyway. He's
No. 20 years ago, Tito beat him in a wrestling competition, and Chael Sonnen told his father the last thing
on his deathbed.
Yeah, his father on his deathbed, that if it's the last thing I do, I'm going to avenge this loss to Tito Ortiz.
What a lot of shit that was. Like, he lost some random ass high school wrestling, or I guess college, whatever it is, like some random ass wrestling match, and it left such a deep impact on him that he promised his father he would avenge this loss.
Tito had a comeback. I don't think he said it, but at least at that press conference. So he had to take a while to come up with it. And he just said that he's a filthy liar who needs rehab.
Chael?
Yeah, Tito said Chael is a filthy liar who needs rehab.
A filthy liar who needs rehab?
Yeah.
Nice.
That's what he said about Chael's deathbed promise. He said his father's turning over in his grave right now. Oh, wait. Let me give the full quote, because I didn't even do it justice. How can I do Tito Ortiz justice? That's a lie from Chael. He's a compulsive liar. The guy needs to go to rehab to stop lying.
Nice.
I thought when he said he needs rehab because of his juicing issue, but he apparently needs to go to rehab for his lying issue.
Well, my name is Chael Sonnen, and I'm a pathological liar.
And then Dana White stands up and says, "Nice to see you again."
Nice.
Tito's winning this fight. I think you're underestimating his jiu-jitsu.
Dude, Bellator suck. How did they not let them talk more?
I'm tweeting this out right now, all caps, because it is a travesty.
Jiu-jitsu. One of my favorite. Oh, God. Dude, Tito Ortiz. I'm rooting for Tito, by the way. I'm legit rooting for Tito.
I'm rooting for Tito, too. I think he's more fun.
He's more fun. Like, Chael's act for me is super old. I'm completely indifferent to it. At least Tito brings so much unintentional comedy that it's just too good to pass up on. Chael is just whatever. Like, seriously. He's been doing the same thing for a while, and I'm not necessarily criticizing him, I'm just pointing it out. But Tito's Tito.
Tito is Tito.
Plus, how happy he is when he wins. He'll want to fight more. They'll probably give him like Vanderlei Silva or something like that, or some other guy he could talk to. Like, come on, Tito gave us well, he didn't
They're
give us.
giving him Chuck Liddell.
Oh, well, that would be even better. That should have been Stephan Bonner's mystery partner, Chuck Liddell. Anyway.
I
generally think Chael Sonnen is winning the fight, though.
I'm going with Tito.
He's a better wrestler. He's a better grappler as well. With all due respect to Tito's jiu-jitsu.
I'm going with Tito.
How will Tito win this fight?
His jiu-jitsu, obviously. Chael's going to take him down. When was the last time Chael Sonnen defended a submission?
That is a good question.
Tito Ortiz choked out UFC contender Ryan Bader.
That is also true. I feel like Ryan Bader still hasn't recovered from that. Like, I think his career would have been it would have went places had it not been for that one loss.
I don't know if it would have gone places, but...
Fair enough.
I mean, Ryan Bader is not good.
You're right. He's Ryan Bader still, but you're right.
I'm going with Tito. He's a better striker, and he's always got that one shot in him.
He sadly is a better striker, so that says a lot. He probably has more power as well. Like, yeah, sure, go with Tito. I admire your courage and bravery.
Paul Daly's on this card as well. Against Brennan Ward. I don't know who Brennan Ward is, but...
I think Paul Daly... Well, Semtex, he'll... Yeah, there was a time where Paul Daly looked scary for a couple of fights, and then he sucker punched Josh Koscheck.
How old do you think Paul Daly is?
32.
33.
Oh. I'm good with these. And that one doesn't surprise me that much.
Paul Daly's got like 50 fights. He has 54 fights.
54?
Yeah.
Wow. What's his record?
38, 14, and 2.
It's a decent record, actually.
Paul Daly's best win is...
Who did he kill in the UFC? Like, that guy's left hook is legit.
Martin Kampman. That's who he killed.
Yeah.
I mean, he killed
him standing, I remember. Yeah. But, like, Kampman wasn't dropped, but it was such a beautiful combination.
Yeah, and Dustin Hazlett, he killed him, too.
Yeah, that was when Dustin Hazlett was supposed to be somebody.
Paul Daly does not have a good win, dude. I'm going to name off Paul Daly's wins. You tell me when one of them is good, okay?
Okay.
This is going to take a while.
Oh, dude, you're not naming 54 fight. Seriously, it's almost 4 a.m. here. It's 5 a.m. actually. Jesus. No, it is 4. But
all right, I'll name off who might be considered good wins for Paul Daly.
Okay.
Scott Smith.
No, God no.
George Masvidal.
Yeah, maybe.
Dustin Hazlett.
No.
Martin Kampman.
Yes.
John Alessio.
No.
That's the list.
Good list. He's got one good win against Martin Kampman.
Yeah. So Paul Daly might have 38 wins, but it's just against guys.
Fair enough.
I hope Paul Daly wins. I hope he knocks him out. I do like Paul Daly knockouts.
I do too. I don't think the world of him as a fighter, but he does bring the violence.
They should have put better fights on this card. This card feels underwhelming given the main event.
Doesn't matter. People are there for one reason only, and I can't blame them.
Oh, Relic Gracie, or Helic Gracie, is on this card.
Helic Gracie, yeah.
Maybe they'll win. They beat Sakuraba in 2010. That was their last fight. What the fuck? fighting Kato from Mortal Kombat. It's a good fight. All right, this podcast felt short. It was by our standards, actually.
It was short by our standards, but I'm very sleepy and there's not that much to talk about. We'll do Tito versus Chael justice after the fight. We promise.
Yeah, because it's going to be an amazing fight, and they're going to cut promos afterwards, winner and loser. So
right, and the one reason we didn't do... Yeah, that's why we didn't do justice, because Bellator dropped the ball.
That is very true. If they would have given us something to talk about, we would have talked about it.
And I'm honest, because we've talked about... We even played the press... all the press conferences. We played the debate thing here on the show, so we've like heavily exhausted that, even though you can never have enough of Tito smashing juice boxes, but still. But yeah, hopefully they'll cut promos on each other.
And even though this segment of the podcast was short, fans are in for a treat because I did interview a fighter earlier this week, Scott Noble, a up-and-coming fighter out of Baltimore, Maryland. We probably spent about 40 minutes talking about his amateur MMA career and Muay Thai career and his upcoming fight and his background in football and even present-day MMA stuff with Ronda Rousey and MMA versus boxing and Conor McGregor and things like that. He is a friend of a friend, and so got to do that interview, and it's a good 40-minute interview. So everybody stick around for that.
I was not aware this happened.
Yeah, Sammer wasn't part of the interview because Sammer doesn't do interviews.
Ooh, that makes you sound so Hollywood. I like it.
You've never interviewed a fighter with me, have you? You were on when I talked to Fagan, but that was it.
Fagan was not a fighter.
No, I know Fagan wasn't a fighter, but I'm just saying, like,
he's a lover.
When we had a guest on.
Oh yeah, never interviewed a fighter. I don't think I've even interviewed a fighter on my own. No. The closest I got was I asked George St. Pierre a question. And we all know the rest of the story. Mike Goldberg sent me a question. Great question. That's right. That's it. And I cussed him out.
If only you had knew then what you know now about Mike Goldberg.
Exactly. I apologize to Goldie.
We'll be back next week to talk about Tito and Chael and preview UFC on Fox, whatever it is. Shevchenko
1-0-something.
1-0-something. Shevchenko and Pena. That's a fight. A main event anywhere in the world. And a main event in Denver, Colorado, because that's where it's taking place. Oh, they're used to bad shit happening, so they're fine. They're cool with
that's harsh.
You don't even get the reference.
Denver, Colorado being used to bad shit happening?
Oh, I wasn't talking about... What are you talking about? And I'm going to go ahead and tell you that's not what I was talking about. I was talking about their hockey team sucking.
Oh, right. They're your favorite team.
Yeah, and they're the worst team in the league this year. So, again, they're used to bad sports. Maybe that's how I should have phrased it, bad sports.
But I thought you were talking about their NBA team.
Oh, they're good. They're a playoff team right now.
Are they?
I'm pretty sure they're the 8th seed. If not, they're like tied for the 8th seed. I looked this up the other day because I tweeted about the Avs sucking, and Steve Cook said, well, what else are they going to do? Watch the Nuggets. And I said the Nuggets are better and more entertaining. And I looked up where they were, and they were tied. Yeah, they're officially the 8th seed. So there you go.
Well, they could have gotten something even better than the 8th seed a couple of years ago. They could have gotten Russell Westbrook.
They could have, but they were dumb.
Okay. Nobody gets that reference. Let's keep it that way.
Oh, I'm making that reference in tomorrow's column.
Can't wait.
Because I bury you for this Rudy Gay thing.
Oh, did you name drop me?
I name dropped you as Sammy Kadar.
It wasn't Sammy Cahill.
Yeah, it was. I went back and looked at it to make sure I had it.
It was Sammy Cadre or something. Was it Kadar?
I'm pretty sure it was Kadar. No, dude, it was Kadar.
I'm gonna go back and look at it.
I legit went back and looked at it myself because I wanted to make sure I got it right. Hold on, don't text me or anything. I will get the screenshot and I'll send it back to you.
Okay.
So yeah, I did name drop you, if you must know.
But it's in a negative light.
I mean, I put myself in a negative light too, so people, it's whatever. People realize this is what I do. I have a shtick with my basketball writing. Dumb stuff. Yeah, Sammy Kadar. Here, I'm taking the picture now.
Fair enough.
All right, so we'll be back next week to review, preview, and again, stick around for my interview with Scott Noble, and we'll join us. How does the ending go? We'll see you right back here next time inside the octagon.
No, it's like, we'll see you right back here inside the podcast.
Yeah, there is no next time. We'll see you right back here inside the octagon next week on Facing the Pain. Welcome back to Facing the Pain, and I'm joined now by a very special guest, King Nobad, Scott Noble. He is a mixed martial artist out of Baltimore, Maryland, managed by one of my good friends and somebody I go way back with, Deshaun Shepard. So, Scott, what's going on, man?
Hi, man. It's going good, man. Everything's good. Thank you for having me, man.
Oh, we appreciate you coming on, doing the show with us. Deshaun reached out to me about a week or so ago, and I told him I was doing MMA podcasting again, so it seemed like a perfect opportunity to set this whole thing up. And so you're the first guest on the new podcast. No pressure.
Hey, man, there's no pressure, man. Pressure bust pipes, and I'm not no pipe, man. You know? But, yeah, man, I'm glad you guys chose me to be on the show. You know, great opportunity. I appreciate it. But at the same time, I am worth the price of admission.
Well, Deshaun showed me the video of the World Star Hip Hop knockout with the head kick, and really just what I want to know when you kick someone in the head like that is, what does it feel like?
Actually, it feels like nothing, to be truthfully honest. As you can see, when I kicked the dude, I fell flat on my face, flat on my butt, should I say, because when you kick the person properly, it just kind of just goes through like butter. I mean, you literally putting the hardest part of your shin into somebody's neck, so it's like just going through air. But, you know, that was a good time in my career. At the same time, it was also a detriment because once that went viral, nobody wanted to fight me for a while, so...
Yeah, I've seen you've had a couple of canceled fights in recent years, and how frustrating is that to think you're going to fight and then the guy just pulls out on you?
At first, it was very frustrating. I mean, you go through a camp, you put in the work, the hours, and you think a guy's game because, you know, he accepts the fight. Then out of nowhere, I don't know what happens, a change of heart between his coaches and them, and then they just drop the fight. But, you know, that's the game. You got to take it how it is. But, you know, I just go into the next guy. You know, it doesn't matter. If a guy doesn't want to fight me, I don't blame him. You know, I just go to fight the guy that's, you know, that's willing to fight me. You know, that's why you always give respect to your opponents, because I don't care who it is. The guy who steps in that ring, I don't care if it's a guy out the street. He's had... You know, he has the will and he has, you know, the determination to step in there with you. And that's something a lot of people can't do. So,
do you have a fight lined up at this point?
Yes, I have a very big fight lined up, man. Me and Ground Control and Henry Smith have just signed a contract to Lion Fight March 3rd, 2016 in Connecticut.
17.
Yeah. What?
It's 2017.
Oh yeah, my bad. I'm sorry. I'm living a year ago. 2017. You know, 2017 March 3rd. We fighting at Lion Fight for Lion Fight Promotions at at the Foxwood Resorts, MGM Casino, Grand Casino. So it's a big fight. It's going to be on Access TV. So we're just making sure we prepared. Coach Rallo, the whole ground control team is making sure, that I'm focused. I'm doing my thing.
You mentioned ground control, and Deshaun was telling me they're out of Baltimore. How long have you been with them?
I've been with ground control I'm coming on 3 years. I've been with ground control ever since. I'm not even gonna lie, man. It's a blur, man. To be truthfully honest, the career is just a blur. But I've been there for 3 years. I remember before I was at MMA Institute, but I had to come back home. I had to come back to my home, a place where I'm most comfortable, become what I am now. So it's just that this place I felt and I know is the place to where I'm going to evolve into the fighter and to the personality that I should be. So yeah, Coach Rallo, all the coaches there, making sure that I'm growing and doing what I'm supposed to do to be the best guy I can.
I always like to ask fighters what makes them go into this sport, because I'm certainly not one that has the balls for it, and I can't imagine just getting punched, kicked in the head, and my joints manipulated and everything like that. So what made you gravitate towards MMA?
I'm going to be truthfully honest. I mean, I was raised in the 90s. My stepfather was a big fan of Kung Fu. He always was watching Kung Fu movies. I'm talking old Jackie Chan, Stick and Crane, Bruce Lee, Fist of Fury, stuff like that, And I always enticed my mind to, it's always in the back of your head, man, I want to do that. I want to be that, that guy, that can go into a room and just dismantle 15 guys. That's always a fantasy you have, especially as a young boy, But I played football for a long time. I'm sure you did your research and you found that out. But I played football up until my senior year in college, to where, and once I stopped playing football, I was just basically just sitting around, just living, and something just hit me and was like, hey man, like, you're an athlete, you need to do something with this. And the guy that I was friends with at the time was like, hey man, you should try MMA. There's a good school in the area that you should just go and check out. So I went and I checked it out, and I'm not even going to lie, I didn't even think I was going to like it. I was like, man, that stuff doesn't look like it's for me. But man, the first day I fell in love. Like, I went in there and I was just starting to do just the drilling and the training, and it reminded me, it had the same grittiness, if not more, which I'm sure it is more than football. It takes a lot of will to be a fighter. So, and that's when I fell in love with it.
Yeah, I saw you played football at Poly and JMU. And what position did you play?
I was a running back.
So lowering your head and just kind of initiating contact isn't too big of a deal for you.
Nah, not just lowering my head, baby. I had juice, man. I could, get you up out of there, juke you, I could stiff arm you, It wasn't just running people over, I had what I call million faces when I played running back. Same thing as I do when I fight. You might want to prepare for one guy, but, another face may come out. That's just how I am as a person. How I am as a fighter. You should never just totally just make your style, should I say, quote unquote, to one specific way. You should always be able to be a chameleon. You should always be able to be a ghost, just changing constantly. So that's what I like to do, man. I like to constantly change it up for my opponent in the fight. Sometimes I want to be Drew Frazier, sometimes I want to be Ali. Sometimes I want to be Yo St. Clyde. It doesn't matter. I'm just always changing it up.
Who were your influence, whether it be boxing, Muay Thai, or MMA? Who were kind of your influences growing up?
When it comes to fighting, I was originally introduced to boxing. That seems, it is pretty normal, especially in America. Ali obviously is someone who I hold very, very high, and I will always say is number one in the boxing game, not simply because of what he did in the ring, but what he did outside the ring. But what I would say personally for myself, a person that I saw, during the time period that really did, affect me was Roy Jones Jr. That was a guy who was just, lights out, just so fast, just talent just overflowing the cup. And it just didn't matter what you put in front of him in his prime. He was just going to dissect it and just dismantle it. So, but at the same time, I had, at this time, I wasn't really aware of kickboxing and Muay Thai, and, MMA, didn't come onto the scene until, the early 90s. So, it wasn't really a big attraction like that. So I was really big on boxing and Roy Jones Jr. So that's a person who I really do love to watch, just in an aesthetically pleasing way, but not to study. I don't study Roy Jones Jr. because no one can do what he can do, but Roy Jones is my guy growing up.
I think Roy Jones influenced a lot of MMA fighters, and one thing with MMA fighters is who do fall in love with boxing or started out with boxing is they maybe don't always understand the nuances with the footwork and the distance.
Love the vocabulary.
What's that?
I said I love the vocabulary. People that you said it perfectly. A lot of MMA fighters don't understand the nuances and intricacies of boxing. But go ahead. It just made me smile that you said it.
Scott talks to me about that every day. Actually, he touched a soft spot.
Oh well, let's
smile, man. Made me smile.
See, we're already on the same page here. So basically, what I was gonna say is because a lot of MMA fighters don't understand that, how do you, I guess, go about it differently from really looking at it and breaking it down scientifically to differentiate yourself from all these other MMA fighters who just, they fall in love with boxing, but they don't understand how boxing works in MMA.
I know Scott is smiling on the inside right now.
I did not, by the way, I did not get this.
Question.
I did not get that question from Deshaun. That was all me. I don't want him taking credit for it.
I feel you did. But, man, but you hit it on the head, man. Boxing, a lot of MMA guys don't understand that, boxing isn't just punching, man. It's positioning, it's footwork, it's defense. The last thing that is important in boxing is punching. A lot of people, you see it from the face, from the surface, punching seems like it's what it's all about. No. Man, there's so many little small things, the footwork, the position, the head movement, the head positioning, like when you watch Floyd fight, man, he's just so perfect in every movement that he does that it's hard for an MMA guy to understand it because he has so many other things to worry about, which is the reason why a lot of MMA guys won't be able to box as good as a boxer does. You got to think about it. If I'm sitting here and let's say I play basketball every day, all day, and then you got a guy who plays basketball, football, and baseball. He's good at all, but the guy who plays that basketball all day, every day for 3 seasons, he's doing AAU, summer camps and all that. He's going to understand those little nuances a lot better than you do. So when it comes to him just playing basketball, he's going to destroy you. Now, as a whole athlete, and if you go to, in a little, might be a little Olympic game, you might play a little bit of basketball, a little bit of baseball and football, you might be able to win that aspect, But when it comes to just someone studying something all day, every day, man, the boxers, it's nothing like it,
That's a good comparison, and I know right now there's a big talk with Floyd Mayweather, Conor McGregor, and I always laugh at MMA fans who think that's an actual fight. And when you brought up the basketball comparison, it just makes me think of Michael Jordan, greatest basketball player of all time. He played baseball growing up, but then he tried to play it in the minor leagues, and he wasn't very good. And I don't think people quite understand that it's two different sports, even though it's the same principle almost, being combat sports, but it's entirely two different sports.
It's entirely it's the head movement is different. Everything is movement. The timing of the punches is different. The gloves itself is different. You can get away with a lot of stuff with blocking and shielding that you can't get away with MMA. You can have your shield up in MMA, you can have your guard up in MMA. You can be blocking stuff, but just those gloves make it totally different. That's why MMA is more of an elusive sport. It's more of a sport where movement and constant movement is required. Because I can't sit there behind a shield all day and just shield your punches. No. Not only are the gloves smaller, so he's able to get behind that guard. He's able to throw knees. So the game is just much more open. So it's so just like everybody, most people who know combat sports have realized that if Floyd will walk into Connor's game, Connor will smash him. And if Connor walks in Floyd's game, Floyd will just sit there and just pick him apart. But what I think I will say is that Connor is a killer. Floyd's not. Floyd's not a killer at all. Floyd's a guy who's just going to sit there and, he's just going to outbox you. Connor, he's trying to kill you. It's just that simple, And one thing I will give more respect to MMA guys is that we have to learn their art. They don't have to learn anything about an MMA guy's art, a mixed martial artist art. So if stuff does go down the street, you already know who's winning that fight. So, yeah.
When you talk about MMA and obviously all the different aspects that go into it, how do you, I guess, schedule your training camps or schedule your training sessions of, today I'm going to focus on this for this many hours, today I'm going to focus on this for this many hours? Just what goes into just planning those sessions?
Goes into plan depends on totally about the person. Totally about the person, my man. Think about it. You got Damian Maia. Damian Maia is the man at jiu-jitsu. You think Damian Maia is going to sit there and spend an hour or 2 hours on his jiu-jitsu? No. In a training camp, probably not. Not every day, no. He's going to give it some time, but he already knows he has a solid fundamental foundation in that. He's going to focus on his wrestling. He's going to focus on his hands, his stand-up. You got to focus more on your weak points when you're dealing with mixed martial arts rather than your strong points. That's why right now I'm focusing on totally developing a strong point to where I don't think no one can get by. So it's the game of what are you good at. It's not what does the camp require, or what do you think the guy's gonna do. So I tell people, it's not a fight between you. It's not what my opponent's gonna do. It's what I'm gonna do. I don't care what my opponent's gonna do. I don't care what he's training, what he's doing. What I do in that ring totally determines how this fight's going to go out if I perform. So I have to focus on myself. So you have to focus on your weak points and your strong points. So that's just the game in mixed martial arts. You got to be constantly bettering yourself, and it's always to be better in your weak points than your strong points.
I think that's smart. You hear a lot of fighters, they want to be well-rounded. Everybody wants to be well-rounded, and obviously that's the goal, to be the best at everything, but it's also not really a feasible goal sometimes. And Bruce Lee kind of said it best, where he fears not the man who has practiced, and I'm going to screw up this quote, but
I know exactly what quote you're talking about.
You fear not the man who has practiced 1,000 kicks 1 time,
but the man who has practiced one technique 1,000 times.
Right.
Yeah.
And a lot of fighters, I don't think quite get that. Like, for example, take Ronda Rousey. She was so great at judo and this armbar that she ran through girls, and then they wanted to try to turn her into a striker, and it just never worked. I know she knocked out people, but it never worked when she faced really good strikers.
Exactly.
And instead of continuing to focus on her strong points and just kind of masking her weak points, she tried to build up her weak points. And if you're a 0 at striking, even if you get to a level 1, you're still not a good striker. So I kind of like hearing you say that, you're looking to build on your strong points and while still working on your weak points. But if you do something that's just amazing compared to everybody else and no one else can stop that, then
Right.
who cares if you're weak in a couple areas?
Exactly. And the thing with Ronda, man, is that I'm not even going to get into her coach because that's totally irrelevant. Because as an athlete, you should know what you need always, and you should know how to tell your coach or change your coach or however it goes. So we're not going to talk about that. But with Ronda, she should have known that she didn't necessarily dissect her game properly. Yes, she's a great grappler. Yes, she has a great grappling game, but she's a judo. That's all upper body. She has no shoot wrestling. She has no real wrestling game. When have you ever seen Ronda shoot for a double or a single leg? Never. She never worked on that. And if she would have learned how to add that to her judo game, she would be able to get Holly Holm to the ground or get Amanda Nunes to the ground. But if you're trying to totally just do judo and walk through somebody's punches because you have to grab their upper body, it's not going to work. So that was just a total misread on her. She started drinking her own Kool-Aid and didn't really realize what she needed to work on. Okay, I understand. Yes, you're not a great striker, Ronda. Yeah, there's been champions that aren't great strikers, but you need to evolve even your grappling. You know, she's a great judo artist, and like I said, that's all upper body. You know, that's us. All just upper body, grappling, So in order for you to get there, you have to get through somebody else's upper body. What's on someone else's upper body? Their shoulders and their arms, their hands, their punches. So she had to get through punches, which she's not totally good at, to get her judo throws. So she didn't evolve her grappling. She didn't learn shoot takedown. She didn't really learn the essence of wrestling and grappling. So that was her real detriment. It wasn't her striking. She just really didn't advance her grappling. She had one aspect of grappling. That's like me trying to go into this Muay Thai fight and just trying to box somebody. That's just one aspect of stand-up. That's not totally just Muay Thai. Muay Thai is knees, kicks, and elbows, not just boxing. You see what I'm trying to say?
No, I completely agree with you. And I want to move off other fighters and get back to you, even though it's always great to talk to other fighters about other fighters, because especially someone, you sound very knowledgeable with all of this, and you obviously have insight that a non-fighter doesn't have. But real quickly, kind of on the subject of Rousey, but still on you, when do you know, like, with your training camp, you're getting that proper coaching? And is there ever a time, not saying you necessarily, but is there that time where I'm not evolving here, I need to move on to something else?
The evolution doesn't come from the coach. The evolution comes from when you are dealing with other athletes who are in your gym who are better than you. It's kind of like if I'm training and there's this guy in the gym who always whips my butt every single day. I don't care what I do. He comes in there and he destroys me. It's not, you can't tell your evolution off of, or your improvement and progress off of the coach just constantly, I learned this technique. Oh yeah, my coach said I'm this technique. No. You need to go back to that person who's been whipping your butt every day. And once you win, that's when you know you're actually getting better. That's when you know you're getting better. When someone who competes in the same gym as you and who gives you a problem and you're actually starting to give them a problem, that's when you know you're actually learning and getting better. Just going to a coach, yes, you learn from your coach, but you feel and you see your progression through your teammates and through your others and through your partners in training. That's how it really goes. Because those are the only guys who you can test those techniques and test your progression against. If it was just you and your coach, and he's going to obviously tell you, yeah, you look good on this, you look good on that. Yeah, I look good on that on pads or on the air drilling it. But how is it going to work against a guy who's really trying to beat me? That's how you really tell if you're progressing. If the guys in your gym are trying to tell you, yo, man, sheesh, bruh, your transitions are getting good, bruh, man, you slapping on them submissions quick, man. That jab is firing, bruh. I can't even do nothing with it no more. That's how you learn how much you're progressing.
I agree with you, definitely. I think it's a little bit on the coach in that regard, because if he's not bringing in the people to help you improve, that is partial coaching. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, I totally understand what you're saying. I was just taking it as a fact of you can't, just because I learned the new sweet combination today don't mean I got better. No. I got to learn when to apply that combination, and after I learn when to apply it, I have to know how to apply it at a top level every time I do it. And I'm only going to know that when I go against someone who is training against me. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I get what you're saying. If your coaches aren't putting the people in front of you to make you better or bringing in the people to help you progress, it's not going to happen. I totally agree with you on that. But from a face-to-face, who you're going to get the feedback from, it usually comes from the training partners.
Right. So on that same subject, who are some guys in the gym that have made you better, whether it be guys you've sparred with regularly, sparred with once or twice, just guys who you feel like, this guy tests me, this guy pushed me?
When I first came to ground control, it was a lot of guys in the gym. I was glad I went to that gym. They had, I would say, the fight team was big, So you had many different styles. So a guy who I learned that, I was getting a lot better than was, a guy who I trained against all the time, and it's my boy Saul. We call him Black Mamba. He's long, he's fast, he's quick, and he knows how to use his range.
Black Mamba.
Yeah, we call him the Black Mamba, baby. Not Kobe Bryant. His punches, his attacks really hurt. But,
Kobe hurts his own team when he shoots 50 times.
Exactly.
Okay, all right.
That's just most shots,
Let's get back on subject.
But yeah, man. Because it was just the fact that his range and I'm just talking from a pure stand-up. I'm letting you know when I got the ground control, I'm still getting schooled from everybody on the ground. Hence the name ground control. That's what we do. I'm kind of, the odd pup out in the sense that I love, and I do my striking so much. But Saul was the first guy that I had to learn to adjust to, and I had to learn to deal with on a constant basis. He was a southpaw, which is obviously usually a problem for an orthodox fighter. He's longer, he was taller, and he was quick, and he knew how to use it. So when we would be sparring, and he would be like, "Hey man, you was on today," or "Hey man, those body shots is popping today." You really was doing your thing. I wouldn't start to know that, okay, I'm starting to learn how to defeat someone who's pretty much my nemesis. A guy who's taller than you, a southpaw, and who's quick and knows how to use it. For a guy like me, 5'11", this guy's, 6'2", 6'3", that's pretty much, a nightmare for you. You don't want to have to do that. But once you start learning how to deal with that on a constant basis, and they're giving you the feedback, yeah, this was on. And not just Saw, man. It was just other guys, in the gym that I've dealt with and fought with that. I just say Saw all the time because Coach Rollo always puts us together. And, he just always boom, Saw, Scott, you guys go these rounds, So that's the first guy that comes to mind.
I know you fought at a couple different weights, amateur-wise, and what weight are you most comfortable at?
Well, as of now, I'm most comfortable at 170. I've had 3 fights there so far now. I've gotten the weight cut down to where it's like not even a blink of an eye. It's easy. But I'm comfortable fighting at 185 to 170. I won't fight at 205. The reason why I was fighting at 205 at amateur because, I was really trying to get a fight and guys would drop out. Well, I'd be like, well, I'll fight your 205 champ. I really don't care. Weight and size really doesn't scare me. I'm a big guy on scale, and I know I'm tough. I don't care how much you weigh. You can punch me as hard as you want. That's just my mentality. I fear no man. So whatever so the 205 guys that I've beaten, in my career was never something that I was scared of. It was just a fact, of just convincing my coaches, could we take that fight when I'm barely weighing in at 195. But yeah.
So the weight cut at welterweight is good. How is your nutrition with that? Do you ever miss like the big steak dinners or anything?
Nah, not at all, man. See, the thing about me is that I cut weight easily. I can hold, my weight has never been a problem. Coach Rollo or Coach, Henry or Coach Babaletta has never ran up to me and be like, hey, you're getting big. But, I got a good sponsorship now. Mexican on the Run, great food truck down in Baltimore. Thames in South Carolina Street. Check it out, 8 to 2. It's a great spot. Give me my good food, my chicken, my veggies, my rice. Because I love my carbs because my weight tends to fall off low, so I can still eat my brown and my brown rices. So, but the thing is that, man, it's just the steak dinners don't bother me because if you want something bad enough, you should that steak dinner shouldn't bother you at all. To be truthfully honest, I much more relish when my hands being raised than me eating a good filet mignon. That doesn't matter to me. I'd rather be the winner. I love winning. I'm about winning. I was born to win.
That's a good attitude to have with weight cut because I think a lot of fighters kind of lose the fight even before they get in there because they expend so much energy just on cutting weight that they can't think about anything else. So I always think that's the first step to winning a fight is just having a manageable weight cut.
Yeah. You ever notice the guys who miss weight usually tend to lose? That means you wasn't disciplined enough.
It's very true. It's very true. I feel like we could talk MMA for another hour or two, but I want to try to dig into something else because you're going to be doing a lot of interviews over the years, and they're all going to ask you MMA questions, and I don't always want to do that.
All right, man.
What other sports do you enjoy?
Man, I'm a sports lover, man. I love, to be truthfully honest, I have an appreciation for everybody who competes in any way of sports. But obviously, I'm a football fan. That's
You're not
my
a
first
Giants fan like the other person on this call, are you?
I can't even lie. I am a Giants fan to a degree, man. They play football the way I like it to be played, man.
Dirty?
What you mean? What do you mean, dirty?
I'm a Panthers fan, and just the Norman Beckham stuff from last year still kind of.
Yeah, I understand that, but you got to think about it. I wasn't even mad when that happened. I played football at James Madison, and we used to just sit there and watch 7-on-7 and just watch the corners and just receivers just go at it. It's something that's just how it is. Especially when you got two guys, especially that year at the level they were both playing at. You got two competitors. I'm sure they in each other's ear. Am I sitting here and defending what OBJ and what Josh Norman were doing? No, but I totally understand and why it got to that level.
But Josh Norman isn't even a Panther anymore, so Jeremy, I think you should let it go.
That's fair. I just wanted to get a shot. I was more frustrated that we were up like 35-7 in that game, and it got to that point where we needed a last-second field goal. Would we ever catch you on a yacht the week before a fight?
No. You gotta think. I'm a fighter. Football is something totally different. A fighter's mental is something that is literally the reason why he loses or wins a fight. You can't be playing out there, on a yacht. The couple of days before your fight. Nah, you don't need that unless that yacht got a heavy bag on it, your coach on it. Nutritionist, so you go on the boat. But other than that, man.
After this whole new enticement entertainment thing, he'll be on a yacht a week after the fight.
Okay, that's fair. You can celebrate.
Enticement, baby.
What about basketball? Who's your team?
It's just the fact that I could never play it. But my team is any team that LeBron's on. I'm sorry, a lot of people might say, "Oh my goodness, he's a LeBron fan." Yeah, I'm a LeBron fan because the Ravens don't have a team. I mean, not the Ravens. Baltimore doesn't have a team, so I'm only loyal to my city that I've been born and raised in. So my favorite team is baseball team is the Orioles. Favorite football team is the Ravens. So I don't have any other favorite sports teams unless you are in my city. And since my city doesn't have a basketball team, I go with my favorite player, which is LeBron James.
That's fair. I'm not a huge LeBron fan, but
You're a hater.
What's that?
You're a hater, Jay. Come on, man. What do you mean you're not a LeBron fan?
I'm not
basketball if you don't like LeBron because he is basketball, baby.
Real quickly, I'm not a LeBron hater. I appreciate that.
I'm a LeBron hater.
Shut up.
I'm a proud LeBron hater.
I appreciate LeBron's skills. Like I'll never say he's not the second greatest basketball player of all time because I truly think that he is. I'm not a fan because he, first off, took the one title away from the Thunder that they might have had, but I'm a fan as of last year because fuck the Golden State Warriors.
My man, exactly.
So,
I can't stand Golden State.
Yeah, as of last year, after what the Warriors Thunder conference finals, I was pulling for the Cavs in the finals, and they're really the only hope of knocking off the Warriors this year. So I turned the corner on LeBron last year. I don't know if you're a wrestling fan, but I did a double turn with the LeBron and the Warriors where LeBron became Steve Austin to me.
Huh? How did he become Steve Austin?
Because Austin and Bret Hart at WrestleMania 13. You know, Austin was the unlikable guy going into that match, and then they just did a double turn.
Yeah, I understand.
I wasn't a LeBron fan until the Warriors series last year, but I'm pulling for him this year.
Speaking of wrestling, I was a little bit taken back by the fact that Scott didn't name me as one of his influences for fighting because when we were both 5 years old, I probably was in a lot of his first fights that I used to win. I was offended. But
he tossed you out the room so quick. Was it a fight? The Royal Rumbles in the room.
Yeah, Jeremy. We used to have like neighborhood Royal Rumbles in our bedroom, and instead of being thrown out of the ring, you would have to be thrown out of the doorway.
And guess thrown out first.
Pretty much as adults, like our proportion and size, the difference, like how I'm much smaller than he is. It was like that when we were 5.
So you were the bushwhacker of the group.
Yeah, as soon as I came into the bedroom, I'd get thrown out. That's all right, though.
Running the litter. Still love you, though, bro. Enticement.
See, whenever I would get thrown out of the bedroom, I was building plans to create Enticement Entertainment. You know
I mean? Getting us kicked out the house. Everybody had to go, Mom.
Anyway.
I'm going to end it with a story on Deshaun just getting thrown out of the room because I think I like ending on Deshaun's misery. Scott, I want you to go ahead and plug any of your sponsors. Again, mention the fight again. Anyone you want to thank, mention. The floor is yours with plugs and everything right now.
First and foremost, shout out to Ground Control Academy. All the coaches that show me love, have dealt with me, have helped me, coached me, teach me. Shout out to Reflex Functional Fitness. Shout out to Mexican on the Run, who made sure that I got that food up in me so I can train hard. People don't know how important that is. And shout out to Enticement Entertainment. You know, my boy Deshaun, my man Eason. Shout out to my mama, my brother, little brother, sister, my girl Kate, my daughter Riley, You know, it's just, you know, it's a lot of people. But just to anybody who has ever supported me in every which way, you too, Matt Porterman, wink, wink. Anybody who has supported me in every which way, if I haven't mentioned you, don't think I forgot about you. I'm on a time limit, and I can't sit here and think about everybody, but I appreciate everything that has ever been done for me. You too, Jay, man. I appreciate you for having me on, man.
Well, when you're UFC champion, just don't forget about me. I want to be the Cosell to your Ali.
Oh, okay, that's cool. I mean, you just got to make sure you just keep in contact, because once we take off, man, we're going to need you to be there. So you can't use contact, you know?
I have Deshaun's number. I will text him every day and just annoy the shit out of him if I have to.
Sounds like me. Sounds like a guy. Sounds like a plan. That sounds like a plan.
Go ahead and mention your next fight again.
Yes, my next fight is March 3rd, 2017 at the MGM Grand Casino in Connecticut, Foxwood Resorts. I'm fighting against Chip Maraza Pollard. He's a guy from Seattle. He's a hometown fan. So anybody, just check out my Instagram, CharmCity_Nomad, or go to my Facebook page, King Nomad, or you can just follow me on my personal page, Scott Noble, on Facebook, and you will get all the information. You will be updated on everything. But trust me, Baltimore, we need everybody to be there so we can go there and make as much noise as possible. You know, let them know that 410 is in the building, you know. So,
and that fight is on Access TV, correct?
It's on Access TV. You know, you're going to see me, you know, the real boy King Henry Smith out there. You know, we're going to be doing our thing. You know, we like to show out. So, you know, don't be surprised if you guys see I got a new dance for y'all. I don't know what I'm going to call it yet. You know, it might be the Noble or the Nomad or something like that. But I'm going to put it on, you know. I'm going to put it on for my city. You know, it's not just going to be a dance, you know.
I hope Deshaun didn't teach you anything, because it's...
No, not at all.
Okay. I don't think it'd be very good. No offense.
Any swag you see from Scott is coming from me.
I don't believe that for a second.
Thank you. I appreciate you not believing that. Yo, man. But yeah, man, just everybody, just please come out. And if anybody's interested in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu or learning how to fight, come out the Ground Control. There's one out in Owens Mills, Columbia. We got one in Baltimore. We got one, you know, got them in a lot of different places, you know, so please just come out and check us out. We are the best gym in Maryland. If somebody says different, you can come to the gym in Baltimore and you can see my team, and we'll let you know that it is what I said it is. Are
you on Twitter at all?
Oh yeah, I am on Twitter. I'm on Twitter at same thing, Charm City Nomad, same thing. Same thing as my Instagram. You know, I just you know, just want the support, you know. I'm coming out there, and I'm coming out there to put on a show. I'm coming out there, you know, to make noise. I'm not coming out there just to show face or be part. You know, I'm coming over there to really do this thing, you know, really let people know and take over. You know, this is not something that I'm just doing just for giggles, you know, just something for me for Instagram likes. No, I really do love this sport, and I'm trying to master it. But right now we got this Muay Thai fight, and we're gonna come back to the MMA scene. We're gonna come back to Baltimore in a couple months, and we'll let y'all guys know about that. But we're not gonna disclose any information on that now. I just want y'all focusing on that March 3rd, 2017 in Connecticut. So
I got one last request for you. I want a video of you leg kicking Deshaun for me.
Deshaun,
we do that. We do that on a regular. We do that on a regular.
Well, I need video proof of this.
Well,
that's why he's an amputee.
Yeah, I let him kick me in the stomach when we just chilling. We're not doing nothing. So it's try to kick me in the stomach real quick.
I don't believe you for a second, because I don't know if you'd be here talking if he kicked you in the stomach.
Okay, you don't have to believe this, but this is the honest to God truth. Granted, maybe I would die, but I did ask him to do it, and he wanted me. He declined to do it because he thinks that I would die. So I mean, but I just want to put out there that I did tell him to do it though.
I want a leg kick video. I don't want to hurt you too bad. That's why I didn't go head or stomach. But I would like you limping for a couple of days at the very least.
Yeah, I tell Scott. I mean, a lot of people are scared. I've actually witnessed people like at the gym scared to spar with him. But I'm going to let you know now. I knew this man since I was 5 years old, and I ain't scared of Scott.
Man, that's because you know my mama's number, dog. Don't fake.
No. You
know that's not weakness. Get out of here, dude.
This isn't leg kick and tell. This is you take the leg kick and it just goes on YouTube and everybody laughs at you. You don't get to call. You don't get to call his mom afterwards and say, Scott kicked me in the leg and I can't walk now.
Look, maybe during, when we have like an enticement victory party on a yacht or something, maybe if I have enough drinks, I'll let him kick me in my stomach. Maybe one day. Maybe if the money's right.
I like your legs, though. I want you to be standing, though. I don't want you to be sitting.
I don't know. I don't want to die. You're right.
Again, that's why I just want you to have a limp. You can go 50%.
You don't understand, Jeremy.
How about if I punch him in the stomach?
Scott's too aggressive, man. Like sometimes I'll ask him to show me like a certain move, and he'll demonstrate it on me, and I didn't ask him to demonstrate it on me. Like all of a sudden, I'm on the ground. I'm like,
if you asked him to show you the move, who's he supposed to demonstrate it on?
Once I'm on the ground, I didn't understand what just happened. I just know I'm on the ground. I'm tired of it.
No,
Scott doesn't know how to play anymore.
Nope. It's all kill.
It was a pleasure talking to you, Scott. Good luck on your fight in March. Definitely stay in contact. Deshaun, thanks for hitting me up to do this, and I'm sorry if I embarrassed you on this podcast.
Nah, there's no such thing as embarrassing me. I'm enticement. This is enticement.
Yeah. I know this guy since I was young. Thank you so much for having me on here, man. I appreciate the love, man. Like this is great, man. I look forward to talking to you soon. We need to do something after I get this W.
For sure. I'm free. My schedule's flexible. I don't have a life, so this is what I do. You beat people up. I talk to people about beating people up.
And you do a good job about it, man.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
Hey, brother. Thank you so much, man.
Thanks, guys. Again, that was Scott Noble. Fights on March 3rd, Access TV. Definitely check that out. And thanks, everybody, for listening. We will talk to you again next week.